Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, business growth strategist, coach, mentor, and consultant. And today I have an awesome guest. He's an entrepreneur, business growth consultant, coach, author, speaker, and CEO of Redmond Growth Consulting, which is an organization designed to help you grow your profits, grow your business, and grow your life through innovative coaching processes. For over 35 years, he's been growing highly successful businesses, including his work at Price Waterhouse Coopers, growing a software company from 2 to 400 employees, then selling it to Intuit, and helping thousands of business owners gain time and financial freedom. He helps owners build businesses that serve them and fulfill their purpose. Welcome, Tim Redmond, and thank you for being on my show.
Yes, this is awesome. And I'm energized with that introduction. It's not just the words, it's the delivery, man. You got some energy going. Come on.
Thanks, mate. I love it. I definitely love to bring the energy. It makes it all happen.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll be bringing it today as well. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome show for everybody watching and listening. So, Tim, you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, just maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
Yeah. So I was born at a really early age, about 9 months in my mother's womb. Bad start. Let's try this again. I was born in a very large family, one of the older ones of 11 kids. My mom and dad loved making babies. And so learned a lot in that, but I grew up and studied in college, accounting and finance. Went to work for Price Waterhouse Coopers, as you said there, and consulting and working with companies. Then I joined the software company, and that allowed me to set up everything from scratch. I learned so many lessons. I learned a lot of what I shouldn't be doing and what doesn't work, probably as much as what did work. We're a very successful software company, grew to about 40 million a year. And we sold it to Intuit, and I came on board with them. We had 22,000 renewing clients, so I wanted to get them to renew with their new suitor. And then what I did after that, Athin, is I started a nonprofit, and I traveled around the world speaking to people. Sometimes I would pay them so I could speak, so they'd hear me, but usually I'd get paid. But all over the world, speaking to business leaders, government leaders, pastors of churches, heads of organizations on these growth principles and leadership principles. So people come up to me afterwards and they say, well, hey, can you coach? Do you offer coaching? And can you coach me on this? I said, well, what, we'll talk about it for an hour or something like that. And not realizing that smart people actually built coaching businesses that were getting paid, and I was offering it for free. So I did a 180 and really focused my efforts at growing a coaching business. And our journey to we got about 150 clients. We're growing pretty steady now. But the first 100 clients, we built that with a 90, this is no kidding on this, Athin, it's 99.75% rejection rate.
Wow.
We learned to flourish in massive rejection. So maybe that's a lesson for someone there to keep in there, so.
Yeah, love that, mate. Awesome journey. Where it all unfolded, and from the nonprofit to the coaching side, and definitely about.
We still maintain that. Here, I was probably not looking good on the. But we still maintain this on the nonprofit. But I've got like this curriculum, and we got this book. It's not to sell to a bunch of you guys here necessarily, but this is a lot of our coaching systems. But this is in 119 prisons, and it's in there as a productivity class. And I get letters, and I get love from a lot of these prisoners. Just change the way they look at money and wealth and productivity, and it's really been a lot of fun to do that. So, but I'm primarily involved in coaching businesses, and really now looking to buy businesses and to have my coaches coach businesses that I own instead of just coaching. So we're starting to get into that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it. All the diversity there, and obviously you showed, the books there. Power to Create. I know you wrote the book for business owners. So since you've brought it up and showed us, maybe let's just talk a little bit about that. How can it? Yeah, that book help us? What's it about?
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote this to business owners and pastors. So I come from a faith background where I use the Bible as a basis to talk on that. They're all end noted there. That's not throughout the book, but anyway. So I really wanted to redefine our relationship with wealth and money and our purpose and tie those together. Now, and I've done this a lot here, Athin, where I'll ask a whole crowd of people I'm talking to and said, how many of you want more money? Yeah, more money. Okay. And so let me ask you another question here. So now, have you seen anybody without a whole lot of money? They end up coming into a bunch of money, inheritance, they won the lotto or whatever it is. They came into a lot of money, and that money more messed them up. It more ruined them than helped them. Have you seen? Oh yeah, I've seen money ruins people. Yeah, it's horrible. And I say, well, that creates a cognitive dissonance here. You wanted, 15 seconds ago, you wanted more money, but then you say it ruins people's lives. Yeah, but not my life. I said, well, I'm not so sure that you don't have some kind of dissonance in there. So we help them get really clear on having a healthy relationship with money. And then we redefine what wealth is. And wealth is the gathering of assets, money, bank accounts, property, businesses, owning assets, owning things that are worth value. That is part of wealth. But the way I teach it here in the Power to Create is we look at wealth from a different lens, a different set of glasses, where wealth is something you create. It flows from you. And I define wealth very simply as creating value to serve others. And you get so good at the value you create, it's so impressive that people want to exchange value just to get that value. And that's called a business exchange. That's called creating a business. And so it relieves people from this faraway, mystical, conflicted way of looking at wealth. Because my parents got divorced fighting over money and wealth, and my business partner betrayed me. There's a lot of pain in our hearts and lives because of these topics. So there's a way to do it in a healthy way. And so I redefined that and really brought it down to a core purpose of who we are as people. We're created to create, and hopefully to create value to serve others. And it makes all the buttons light up on the inside of us in terms of, Viktor Frankl's logotherapy and, meaning and significance, and moving up Maslow's hierarchy it's all about creating value to serve others.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. And getting a deep insight of, that how we can redefine wealth, because definitely that helps us to get freedom. And, earlier, like I mentioned, and you touched on, obviously you helped the software company go from, 200 to 400, two employees to 400 employees, and then help to sell it to Intuit. So that's an awesome feat, right? And obviously help to bring that on. Do you want to maybe just share a little bit about what was key, to ensuring that, you're able to get those results?
Yeah. So two things is what we offer to our market. And this is one of the biggest challenges that businesses have that I see is they fail to do what Seth Godin calls creating a purple cow. What makes you stand out? If you're driving by and you see a bunch of black and brown and white cows, but there's a shiny, bright purple cow in the middle of it. If you saw that 25 years ago, you'd still be talking about that wacky cow that right in the middle. And so that's what we want our businesses to be. Seth said, if we're not remarkable, we're invisible. And so what we did was in our products, we became a one-stop shop. So we sold tax products, we sold accounting products, bookkeeping, just everything for the CPA to be able to serve their clients. And most people would just piecemeal a lot of what they offered if they offered that. What we did was we combined everything into a simple package to say, get it all here at a very reasonable price. Boom, we did that. So we marketed a purple cow that was ahead of a lot of other companies that were doing that, and they really got a lot of market share. The second thing we did was one of the 7 areas that I was overseeing was marketing. And so we always made it like a purple cow in our marketing. We would mail out, and do you know I don't know in Australia what a CPA, what they call a CPA, certified public accountant, they just call it there?
Yes.
Same thing. Okay. So some CPAs are, I mean, as interesting to talk to as a doorknob, right? So that's my background. Okay. So I'm picking on myself, but anyway, what we would do is we would create these like discs, back in the 5 1/4 inch floppy. You read about that in the history books, Athin. Okay.
I remember them. I remember.
And then the 3.5, and then we got into, and so we made that talk and give them a message. So they were like, wow, what? Way ahead of our time. So we'd always do something, but I mailed out 1.2 million copies of those packages 3 times a year to everybody that ever thought about doing taxes or bookkeeping work. And just bam, 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 just hit them just nonstop. And we didn't create, I didn't do any cold calling there. We actually created our own leads from that. We created about 50,000 leads from those drops there. And that would be enough for us to go after enough new clients and make the business a highly profitable business. But those are a couple lessons I think have been really good. Another thing we did that I since college days, I created this leadership course and have been teaching it. I've modified, I've taught in university and various venues. And so I actually brought that in, and we actually emphasize that entry-level position here as being a leader. And where does leadership start? Well, leadership starts first by learning to lead yourself. You go inward before you go outward. Get your crap together. And before you export all that poison to everybody else, just, do the inner work. So we had a whole process of conflict management and resolving different issues there to goal setting, goal achieving. We covered all aspects of just managing your own life. And I haven't brought this up for years, but I had one gal come into my office and start crying. Now, Athin, how do you handle women that come in your office and cry? Okay.
I understand it's probably a good start.
Yeah. You're light years ahead of the rest of us called clueless males. Okay. Well, I'm the first one in line on that. So she started crying. I go, well, what, I'm trying to understand, what's going on. You saved my marriage. I said, I saved your, what are you talking about? What? Says, yeah, these leadership course. I've just started applying. This is the 3rd time I went through it because we let them go through it again. It's like a 16-week program. And 3rd time I went through it, I really started applying it, and it just changed our marriage. It just completely, I'm thinking, man, I just want better productivity at work, but if this saves your marriage, huge, So really emphasizing and pushing an expectation that everybody in your organization leads. And we begin with self-management, self-leadership, and go from there. So that really, we had just a phenomenal group of people working there that really helped us grow it.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love all those points. And I think we get so much gold from looking back and how we helped, make massive results there. And obviously, a lot of business owners are making mistakes, right? In their business, whether they know about them or not, it stops their growth and, can reduce their profits and things. So what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing that's happening, in the market?
Well, a lot of folks, I would say that, there's two of the biggest holes in our pockets of business owners. And that is a lack of follow-up and a lack of follow-through. So whether it's in our marketing, if you're going to market something, hit them 3 times with it. If you're sales, do you have a follow-up system? I mean, we've got a lot of clients that have never even heard of a lead sheet. Well, what's a lead sheet? Well, everybody that calls in that wants to get a bid from you, you have them written down. You have them in a spreadsheet somewhere, or you can go into a CRM. I don't recommend a CRM. We use one. We're a larger company now, but we just use spreadsheets for forever and a day. And it's marking down everybody that had interest in it, and then having some kind of we had a color code on where they were in the sales process. So a lot of people, Athin, they don't define their sales process from when they get a lead, or exactly what do you do, and then what do you do next? And if they don't want to do this, then what do you do, and how do you drip on them with that? And what's each step that we have? And we're tracking each step. We're looking at our entire pipeline and knowing where everything is. So that lack of follow-up and lack of follow-through. But I had one client that was he sold generators. And we finally, after, me threatening him, to go AWOL on him, just see you later, we're done. He finally did it, and his first swab through it, he realized he had sold 3 of these systems, or around, on the low end, $10,000 to $25,000 a system. He had 3 of them of clients he never collected on. He brought in about $50,000 just by his first time of doing that. So I would say that's a huge issue, is just a lack of persistence and detailing the process with each lead that comes through. We have a lot of clients that will set up leads that are kind of coming through, and they have such a call reluctance, or the receptionist or whoever answers the phone is just like poison. It's like they don't want to talk to anybody. Well, get them the hell out of that chair and get somebody like my friend Athin that is enthusiastic talking to people. Get somebody in there that can follow the script. We help them write a script, and we practice with them, and get somebody in there that'll do it. We've had a lot of clients that they actually never follow up with their leads. We're not getting any leads. Well, I went out to your website. You've got 122 leads here. What? And that's just the last 2 weeks. What's going on? Oh, well, so they make up stuff. So that's a huge deal. I like to talk a little bit about, for the business owner. Is this interesting to you?
Definitely.
Is this good for your audience? Okay.
Love it.
So on the business owner, I have this thing called power planning. So I've got my spreadsheet and my calendar out on my computer, and I'm going through the emails. I'm going through text messages. I'm going through my to-do list, what's been knocked off. What did I write down the other day? And I'll go through like a pattern of questions, usually anywhere from 6 to 8 questions that covers every aspect of my business. And I ask those questions as a power planning, where I'm looking at my business as if I've never looked at it before. And I thoroughly think through personnel, where things are along the pipeline, follow-up issues, meetings we have, meeting preparation. And it just prepares me for the day. Sometimes it only takes 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes a couple hours because there's so much going on. But when I do that and I reduce it down to that to-do list and my calendar, time blocking it in one of those 2 places or both, then I print those out and I carry that around with me. And from there, I manage my day. And anything new comes up, I write it down, and I'll add that in there the next morning or that evening if I take time to do that. So what we're doing is we wake up with our hair on fire, and we're trying to run through the day, without getting burned. So that power planning is really important. And there's a number of other things, creating a cadence in your business and a set of meetings that is phenomenal. Accountability. There's so much I can go into, but anyways, does that answer your question though pretty well?
Yeah, definitely, Tim. Thank you. Amazing there with how we can really help ourselves in different ways and what we're potentially leaving on the table and things like that. And I guess let's talk about profit now, right? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, revenue, I want to make more money," but it's also how profitable we are, right, in the business, which is important. And we could potentially increase prices or cut costs. There's different ways, right, of increasing profit. So what are some ways, if you want to share about how we can look at increasing profit in our business?
Okay, so the first thing we take a look at the income statement, right? And we go from the top of it and we work our way down. So I'm sorry, this thing is just lighting up here and I thought I turned it off. Sorry. All right. So what I would say is you start out first of all with the sales number. Okay. Now, many of our clients, they're stuck from 5 or 8 or 10 years ago. And if you figure out inflation, which is a lot higher in America now, but you figure at 2 or 3% in 5 years, it's like 15 or 16% of money you're losing if you don't adjust that up just with inflation alone. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the pricing. So sometimes most people tend to undervalue the value they create, right? So we'll look at that. And do you need to make a adjustment on the pricing? Now, what we'll do is we'll work with a client on the right script where they don't lose clients because of their pricing increase. Okay, so we have that. Another thing is we look at what markets are we being lazy in. I like to have 3 words here. Casualness creates casualties. Okay, so where are you casual and what markets are you kind of like half-assing it? Your success needs a full-ass effort. You can't half-ass it. So, we look at that. We look at what's hiding, what market, what kind of customers are hiding just hiding in plain sight right under your nose. We also look at what packaging can you put together. That's what we did with our software company. It just caused us to blow up. So, and I've got a number. I can go through each part of the cost of goods sold, the gross profit. There's certain treatment of expenses. We go through that, and many times we'll see as high as a 10 or 12% increase in net income just going through that fairly quickly. I mean, during our first 3 months of working with them. So the one thing I do want to remind these wonderful people watching this show here, if they're still watching, if I didn't scare them off, like, who is this nut you got on board here, Athin? So if you're still with me, so think of this. Your business should pay you in 2 ways. Number one, it should pay you for the labor that you work in. So, you're doing coaching, or you're making these widgets, or you're repairing these kind of roofs, or whatever you do here. If you're working in the business, even managing, you need to be paid in the business for your labor. And then the second thing is your business is a separate entity. And I believe that the number one focus or the number one purpose of the business is it's there to serve the owner. Now, you have to serve your customers well. You got to serve your employees well, or the business won't serve you well. But you want to re-engineer. That's what we help people do, is we re-engineer the business so it works the way you need it to work. And then a lot of people, like one guy I was talking to, he came on board about 1.5 years ago. He's a 68, 67-year-old guy at the time, $100,000 a month, 5% net profit. He wasn't paying himself anything. So he was making about $5,000 a month, but that was about what he should be paying himself for just his salary, right? Just for working in the business. So over the period of time, we really helped him with his estimating, this whole process, pricing and all that. Now he's like, oh my gosh, I'm now making plans to do vacations with my wife I never thought I was going to be able to do. I'm leaving a legacy, an inheritance for my grandkids. I'm helping with my local church or this outreach here in my community. And he's like, come alive, because we've got him now up to about $600,000 a month in revenue, but he's got his profits up between 15 to 20%, going back and forth around that, averaging about 18%. Well, making $18,000 and paying himself $5,000 a month. Now he's $23,000. Well, that's a huge, from where he was. And, he's really growing from there. That's at the 100,000, but the 600,000, now he's making over $100,000 a month now. And he's catching up his retirement, never putting money in retirement. So you've got to make sure your business also pays you a profit. You've organized this business. You've got the people there. You got them trained. You've got a service or a product you produce. This business ought to pay you, and I would say at least 20%. Some businesses it's harder to do, and we work with all those businesses. But does that give some good ideas on that?
Yeah, definitely. Love that. And so true with how, the business be serving us, and obviously good profit percentages in the business as well, to making sure that, we can grow the business or, do the life and things that we want to do. And I guess,
go ahead.
You go ahead, Tim. Jump in.
Well, like I was thinking about the cost of goods sold. Like I was working with one electrician, and he started with us. He was at about $125,000 a month here. And he would yell at me. I'm like, I'm going to hang up the phone. I don't want this abuse. I don't know you. I'm sure you're a nice guy. Why are you yelling at me? It's like, because I'm not making a damn cent in profit. This is horrible. And but he's paying himself a pretty good salary. But over working with him over the last couple of years, now we've grown from about $125,000 and no profits, but a good salary, overpriced salary, but there you go, to now he's producing about between $500,000 and $600,000 a month, and he's right at about 18 to 20% profit as well too. And so he's doing a lot of what I've told him to do from get-go, and savings and retirement, and just making sure making sure our money works for us. And he's on cloud nine. He sent me a text. He said, I'm starting to dream again, like I haven't dreamed since I was 20 years old. And that's the kind of stuff and the way he did that was he used one of our strategies of competitive bidding, but we get so busy living our lives here, and we get so used to buying stuff, but he made everyone, he's buying, he's buying like $1.5 million worth of, electrical stuff. And he followed this process of competitive bidding, and he was able to reduce his price down by 15%. Well, that's $225,000 drops to the bottom line, boom. That's not a bad raise to give yourself. That would probably be enough to last at least 2 weeks for me. How about you?
I love it. Yeah. Awesome stuff, Tim. Yeah. Great stories there with, how the differences, all these things can make, right. And this is, I think, the power of coaching, mentoring, right? Where, like you said, we're in the business, we're doing what we're doing, but that outside perspective can really help us. So how has, coaching, mentoring, I guess, helped you as well? And how important it is, do you think as well?
The coaching, now I believe we're coming into an economy of coaching. It's like a whole way that we get stuff done is going to be through coaches, through experts that get stuff done. So I've got a very successful coaching company, relatively successful compared to where I wanted to be. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm super, super happy. And, I see us quadrupling in the next 3 years. Okay. And what I do is when I stuck or I want to get better, the best get better because they get a coach. Movie stars have done that. Athletes do that. A lot of athletes have 2 or 3 or 4 coaches, and really cutting edge executives. They've got coaching that they've got active in. So here I am, a coaching company. I've got 4 coaching companies that I'm paying to help me in specific areas of my business. Do I know what I'm doing with coaching? Yeah, but I want to get better. And so, I've hired a coach, and I'll always spend money on a coach. I'll spend anywhere, $30,000-$50,000 on up, every year just on coaching, just to make sure I stay in the cutting edge. The best get better because they got somebody else helping them get to where they want to go. And it doesn't have to be a lonely path. And that's what we are to a lot of companies. That's who you are, Athin, to a lot of fortunate businesses that have you as our coach. And so it's been life-changing for me, for sure.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, completely agree. Coaching, mentoring is just, helped me to get to that next level. And like you, I'll continue to always have them in my life to help pushing me to continue to improve. And I guess, one thing that, is important in business as well is having a high performance team, right? And this can be the difference in, growing and scaling, right, in the business, because we can't do everything ourselves, as the entrepreneur, even though we may start like that. So do you want to maybe share, I guess, what's missing, what the mediocre teams are doing and what the high performance teams really embrace to, make that happen?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So one key thought I've got on that, because I can spend a day on that. And we just had several of your people just click off after that comment. So sorry. So one missing ingredient that the super high performance teams have consistently that the mediocre teams usually lack. And that is one word, and I'm going to redefine it, but that word is respect. Respect. And respect is like, well, yeah, I demand respect. It's like something you're demanding from other people to give you. No, it's not that at all. Respect is a gift that you give somebody. Respect, I like to define respect as you don't have to agree with somebody in order to be able to work closely with them. And respect is valuing the differences instead of just tolerating the differences. So let's take a look at, I'm going to get real personal here for a second here. So we sold this software company, and I've got a little bundle of money here, and I invested in a number of different businesses because I was going to be busy traveling around and doing this nonprofit, speaking around, and so I wanted to get a bunch of businesses going, and so they would provide for me income. And I didn't have confidence to start my own business, interestingly enough. Okay. And by the way, to get the most important things done in your life, you do it afraid. So just get over yourself and do it. Stop thinking about it and do it. So that's what I had to tell myself. And I remember kind of strong arming my wife and say, well, you don't understand, Sandy. You don't just have a good feel about it. Well, what do you mean? I mean, here's the numbers here, and here's our strategy, and here's, and I would just try to just bombard her with logic, but I was very emotional about it. So I wasn't just level-headed logic. I was a jerk. I was an absolute jerk. And I realized, and by the way, we lost over $1 million. There's one project we lost. I made about $250,000 on it, but ended up losing $400,000 of the principal that these guys said they're going to guarantee and didn't. And I didn't respect the difference she was bringing, the different perspective. It's like I wanted her to talk to me on the terms that I'm strong in. And she couldn't do that and keep up with me. And I thought I was better than her for that. How arrogant is that? How clueless is that? These women in here that are married to some men that have lost a lot of money, I feel for you. And if I can talk to your husband, I'll be glad to talk to him. But I had to just suck up and own it. I had to just humble myself. And and just say, Sandy, my wife is Sandy, beautiful lady, better than I deserve. So Sandy, if you are uneasy about this, then it's an automatic no, or it's an automatic, we'll wait on it. I am no longer gonna strong arm, because I value the differences instead of resisting or getting mad at or tolerating the differences. And when you do that on a team, you have open, honest conversations. There's not the politics there. You encourage each other. It's authentic. You're free enough with each other to get onto each other and says, hey, you said you're going to do this, get this done by here. It's not done, man. This is, in our company, it's all about what you own. It's one of the 3 core values we have, is just extreme ownership. Do you own what? Do you own it? Do you own your life? Do you own your responsibility?
Yeah, that was awesome, Tim. Thank you so much. Just, such great information there. And now, there's a saying where that, if you get stuck in your head, you're dead. And, leading from the heart, can be more powerful. So do you want to maybe share with us how leading from the heart can help us, and how we can do this as well?
Yeah. So realizing that leadership is primarily an inside activity. And I really call leadership is a moment by moment management of your emotional state. And so a lot of us are reacting against rather than creating towards. And a lot of us are just emotionally responding instead of saying, well, a leader wants to improve the situation, wants to resolve the issue or manage the issue or bring people up to a higher place. And so that begins with what's going on the inside of you. And it's this moment by moment management. I mean, I've got one son in this business that he's my COO, and I've started another business, that fitness coaching business, with another son. He played football in college and he's really ripped. And, but I'm talking to them about these concepts here where you have to keep your, what my favorite poem of all time is Rudyard Kipling's poem called If you can keep your head when all those about you are losing theirs. And he goes through all this amazing things, and he finishes it. And then, what's more, my son, you'll be a man. You'll be a man, you'll really be there to lead. And it's not feminine, masculine, male, female. It's really just you showing up with your best self to add to the situation rather than take away. And so leading from the heart is really making sure that what's directing your decisions are your values. And it's the script that you play with. And if you raise kids, they're going to challenge you, with, I remember before I had kids, I had 4 theories on raising kids. Now I've got 4 kids and no theories, so, but it's really just being able to be led by these values that you hold dear to, and you're scripted by those things.
Yeah, love that, mate. Really powerful, and love the stories. With your kids as well. I'm not there yet with mine, but I just got married, so hopefully we'll have some in the coming years as well. So awesome stuff.
You raise your kids and they raise you.
That's the takeaway that I look forward to getting as we go down that journey. So so much awesome value today, Tim. Thank you. And I know you wanted to provide even more value, to all the watchers and listeners today. So I know you wanted to give, a great gift that's got a high value to it as well. So what did you want to share with everyone?
Well, okay. So for everybody that's watching this, if they will give you a 5-star review or talk about how much they love Athin and what a stud muffin you are, there's got to be some kind of a identification with your podcast. And if they do that, what I'm doing is I'm waiving a $2,500 fee that we normally charge for a growth plan. A growth plan is we analyze the business, the strengths, the weaknesses, the marketplace, where they're in. We look at your capacity versus where you're at. That's an amazing revelation there. We also look at your 3-year goal. And once we get clear on all that, your capacity, then we'll create no less than 8 concrete action items. Now, we're a do-it-for-you coaching company. So, if it works out, you want us to implement those things, great. But you can implement those. And many of our customers, by just implementing these 8 or 10 concrete action steps from the growth plan, they've increased their net income by $100,000 in the next 12 months. So it's adding like $100,000 of profits or more. And that's why we normally charge the $2,500, because there's really a lot of value in the process. We're going to waive that if they identify themselves as loving you, loving your show, and we'll provide that at no cost. It's going to be for, a real business you have, and not just an idea of a business. And but we'll be glad to work with you on that. So just as my way of saying thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome, Tim. What an amazing offer there, guys. And yes, definitely look forward to getting those 5-star reviews. And then you get the amazing, Tim and his company to do those growth plans. I'm sure there's going to be some amazing actions, to help you grow your businesses. And Tim, we connected through our networks where I learned about your awesome journey from starting at Price Waterhouse Coopers over 35 years ago to then founding Redmond Leadership Institute, your non-for-profit, and now Redmond Growth Consulting. You're an awesome guy, and I'm sure you continue to help owners build businesses that serve them and fulfill their purpose. Very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working.
I hope we connect again. For sure,
mate. When I come to the US, and hopefully I'm around your area, or hopefully we can catch up in person, which will be nice too.
Dinner on me. Come on.
I love it, mate. Thank you. And so, after all of that, Tim, so awesome, so much value today. How can people find you and get in contact with you?
If they want to go out to our website, redmondgrowth.com, is REDMOND growth.com, or they can look us up on the internet, Redmond Growth Consulting. Or they can, and the numbers listed there is actually my cell number. So, if I don't answer, I'm either helping a client or I'm chasing my wife around the house, and neither of which I'm going to be interrupted from. So, but I'll call you back. I promise you that. But they can email me if they want to as well. Athin, it's Tim at Redmond Growth. And so Tim, TIM at Redmond Growth. Have them email me or go out to the website, fill out one of those web forms, but just tie themselves into your show and we'll waive that fee. And I'd love to be able to help them and be of help to what you guys are doing.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Definitely check out Tim. He's an awesome guy. I'm sure he shared huge amounts of value today. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review, because even today you get an even extra bonus for doing that. And you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you will know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.